Welcome back to the KFiles. Today we are investigating Bradley Whitford's pectorals in Firewalker. Welcome back. We're here in the Lush Basin office again investigating Firewalker. I'm your host, Katie.
And I'm your co-host, Kryzzalia, and we're coming at you from HollywoodRedux.com.
We are coming at you from...
Yeah,
like,
something happened there.
As Hollywood Redux.
Well, there you go. I mumbled a little bit, but it's okay. I'm really excited to talk about this episode, Katie.
Welcome to Firewalker.
This was a really good episode, actually.
Yeah, you like?
I did, man. I have a couple questions, so I'm pretty excited to jump into the conversation.
I like the questions. Yeah, so we're still early days on the series. We're early season 2 now, and Scully has just come back from being abducted. One breath was leading us into this episode, and so we have Scully coming back to work. That's a dynamic. Mulder's a little...
He's very concerned, man. He is. He's being a good partner. And just making sure she's actually okay before jumping into the next, XFiles case. So,
yeah,
that's good to see, man.
Well, so you see the parallels. He's asking himself a similar question as the main character, the monster, Daniel Trepkos, played by Bradley Whitford in that aforementioned
this dude.
Pectoral-bearing tank top. Yeah, so that was the question that character was asking was, how responsible am I for all these people's deaths, essentially, especially the person that he loved. And so Mulder, of course, was seeing that, and he was also asking that question, how, did Scully get hurt because of him? That was what he was most worried about through the whole One Breath arc. And Scully answers that question pretty handily. She says, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And it's not a matter of him, it's a matter of her. That's her.
Fair enough.
She's back. She doesn't want to take any more time off.
Yeah, no, you can tell she's
invested even more now.
That abduction was not going to stop her whatsoever. So
yeah, and she claims she doesn't remember anything from it. She doesn't. That's not really in play yet. We'll see a little more coming about from that experience.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, we're going to stay, I think, in the second season for a little while. It's been fun staying in the early days of the show.
I've been enjoying this ride, man. It's good to see fresh faces.
Yeah. So what were some of your questions?
So, okay. First of all, I would love to say that when I saw Trepkos, in that freaking tank top, I was thinking of Zoolander the whole time. To be quite honest, especially.
He was if the West Wing had a Terminator, he would be like the West Wing Terminator. That's what...
Here's my question. Was he... Okay. The stuff on his face. His
burntedness.
That's what it was? Burnt?
Yeah, he was hanging out down there on the volcano.
The whole time I thought it was an infection happening that was slowly taking over. And I was like, no one's gonna talk about this? No one's gonna just bring it up and say, hey, you have a problem on your face happening here.
Well, there were things protruding from people's necks, exploding out of people's necks, so...
But he wasn't infected whatsoever, right?
He was fine.
Okay.
Ironically.
So then why did he stay? Why didn't he just go?
A number of reasons. He was responsible.
Okay, fair enough. But why did he stay? Why didn't he just go? He was fine.
He talks about in that video where we saw him normal before we actually meet him, where Mulder and Scully meet him in person.
The interview, right?
There's that video they watch when Pierce comes to them in the very beginning, and in the video, Trepkos is talking about discovering the volcano and the purpose of Firewalker, and he waxes slightly poetic and says, it's like the Big Bang looking into the Big Bang itself. Right. It's like looking into the origins of everything, and so he sort of gets a little mystical, and you get the sense that he, when he looked into that after Firewalker came back from the first mission, and he brought the spore back, and everybody got infected, and all the bad things started to happen, that whatever he saw when he looked into that fire, it wasn't good. Right. He didn't bring a good thing.
Obviously.
Although who can judge its nature? It's that's the purpose of Scully in this episode, is to remind us it's not good or bad. And people die, and that is an unfortunate thing. But the spore is just a life form seeking to exist. It's just a new life form. The volcano from whence our life came shot forth another thing. So
yeah, that was pretty cool that they actually found new like life form parasites happening. Even though it was a bad thing, it was still pretty neat. Sucks that they had to be quarantined though for a while.
Not the first time or the last.
It's true. It's like many, one of many.
Yeah, well, this episode has similar themes. We've seen it before in, Ice for sure in the first season, and
Correct.
Darkness Falls. Mulder and Scully team up with a ragtag band against some new organism. Mm-hmm. It's a subgenre of the X, which is always fun.
Right.
But I think it's a little different too. It explores, well, for one thing, the discussing, the volcano, the Howard Gordon wrote this episode, and it was inspired by NASA's similar project.
Was really fun to find out that it was
called Dante. That was the name of their
Project Dante. What was it, like 92, 90?
So yeah, early 90s, something like that. This season was 94, so sometime before that.
That's pretty cool.
But anyway, so that subject matter, I think, is just a more rich subject matter in many ways than than maybe like Darkness Falls or something like that, because you're talking about looking into this like mysterious fire. And we talked about in the episode Fire not too long ago, the burnt man, this like reoccurring image that pops up throughout the series in many places. Well, you have a version of the burnt man in Daniel Trepkos. He's not dead. He's not been reborn or anything like that. Or like in Miracle Man, the burnt man, walking around still burnt. No, he's been down to the volcano. He's seen the truth. He got a little burnt by it, but not enough so that he was transformed. He is still his frail human self enough so that he's stuck in hell. He didn't get to, achieve any kind of divinity by looking into this power, which is typically like when you're talking about mystical things like that, or like consciousness, that's like where you're going, is you're aiming for divinity. So you get the sense, like in the beginning video, he was really, drinking the Kool-Aid about it. Like he was like, we're going to find all this power. And then ultimately all they found was more life, stranger life,
right.
life that's going to probably take our place on this planet.
I hope not that way though. That would be pretty.
Well, the old tentacle through the throat, not a peel.
I don't know, man. It as tempting as it is, I think I'm gonna skip on that option if that's the case.
Those tentacles did look pretty gnarly. You got to give it up to the special effects team.
Dude, it can be done. It's practical magic pretty much on screen.
Yeah.
It just looks so much better than like fucking CG, you guys.
It creates an indelible image. It creates that image of Tanaka out there in the forest in the flashlight beam with the thing just having just exploded out of his neck. It was so uncomfortable to watch. It's indelible. You never forget it. It lives on in your nightmares.
When it's uncomfortable, you know that like the effects department did a really good job. So, good job, guys.
Yes, it holds up. Yeah. 1994, and it looks just as real.
Only season 2, man. Like that's like only season 2.
Early season 2.
God damn.
We have many places to go. Yeah. So what were your other questions?
Well, that was pretty much just like the biggest one about if he was actually infected or not. Damn it! Now I can't think of it. I was so into just talking about him in particular. Besides questions, I actually did find out something really cool about reading the episode.
Oh, yeah, please tell me.
One of the sets throughout the episode was actually sold to the production team that did the Sentinel.
Oh, yeah. So it's a cool set.
Yeah, that was pretty fun to find out.
Yeah, it's a great set.
So, yeah. I was hoping within that I would come up with the question, but...
Vancouver production paying it forward.
Check in with me later, Katie. Maybe it'll be back.
All right. Well, in the meantime, so that is, that's what I have for Firewalker.
I still say he could have walked away, even though I understand that he felt guilty and stuff, but he was perfectly fine. Dude, just go. Like, I'm sorry. I wish you would have gone. Yeah.
Well, he's the monster, and he's meant to represent something that the characters learn or don't learn.
He would be considered the monster? Even
Trepkos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the monster.
Huh.
His misbehavior was the thing that got us all in trouble. His insatiable need for knowledge, his drive to divine secrets of the earth that no man has divined before, his greed to dig so deeply, that is what caused the...
That's interesting, because he starts off as the monster, and then he kind of becomes the hero at the end, because he knows that those guys are infected, and the only way to save everyone is to kill them. That's crazy how yet he's still considered the monster.
Well, it's his dream. I mean, it's like whose dream is it? What's the moral of the story?
Okay, I'll buy it.
Mulder's asking this question about Scully going back to work, and the answer is Scully's right there. Scully's solid. Scully is the one who figures out everything, basically, and then when what's her name? O'Neill handcuffs her to her. Scully still puts her in the other room and closes the door on her.
Shady move.
Well, that's what we were told. The spore will trick others into. I don't think they use the word trick, but it's essentially will lure others into being infected by it. That was just the spore, enacting its will through O'Neill. Terrifying.
Hey man, well played. That was.
How about when Bradley Whitford shot that freaking flare into Leland
Didn't see that
Orson's
coming.
back. Yikes. And then Mulder was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you.
Dude, this episode just aces all around. It was really, really good.
Bradley Whitford getting to be what did I call him? Volcano Ninja?
Yeah, pretty much.
Volcano Ninjas. Only on the X-Files. You don't find that in other places.
Not really.
All right. Well, that's it for Firewalker. We walked through the fire.
We did, and
we were not burnt men.
No,
we were just women. So we just walked right through it. It didn't hurt us at all. That's what Daenerys Targaryen taught me. Other show, unrelated. I don't have files on that one.
Not yet.
Oh God. I am your host, as always, Katie Moeller. You can find me on Twitter at KMoles.
And I'm your co-host at Kryzzalia. My bad. Damn.
You got this, buddy. Just take your time.
Fuck.
Take a breath. Take a swallow.
And I am your co-host, Kryzzalia. And you can find me at Kryzzalia on all social medias.
Yeah, and we're coming to you from Hollywood Redux. We have a lot of great other content on that site. You should definitely check
guys.
out. Yeah, we have a video game, couple of things. We've got a podcast. We have Twitch gameplay. We have retro gaming. We have lots of great stuff. Infinite Grenade Launcher. And we also have a movie review podcast called The Writer's Room. We're on that as well. Yeah. And we have lots of shorts and sketches and other surprise material rolling out through the summer months. So stay tuned with us. HollywoodRedux.com. You're going to want to subscribe below for all of that.
There.
Coming to your devices directly.
Just click it. Click.
And that's going to do it for us. Please subscribe,
somewhere.
Lots of activities, comment. Let us know what you thought. Do you like Firewalker? What did you think of Bradley Whitford's pectorals? Talk about his muscles, because he doesn't look like that anymore. He was on that show Transparent in the second season. He doesn't look like that anymore. I can confirm this for you.
He was so oily too and stuff. It's it was kind of weird.
He was like an animal caught in an oil spill.
So weird.
Okay, we're gonna go now. Goodbye. Thank you for listening.